Hi, my name is Michael Short, and in this video, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on our new plugin that we actually released it. It's called Tour Wizard Pro, and it's two parts to this plugin. There's the Tour part and the Wizard part. It's actually a Wizard first and then a Tour, but I just thought Tour Wizard Pro sounded better than Wizard Tour Pro. I don't know why. Anyways, the idea of it is that the Wizard aspect that's not done yet and won't be done until WP Ultimo 2.0 comes out, or we'll have early access, and hopefully we'll be able to release Wizard by the time 2.0 is released. The idea behind that is that we want it to, just similarly to WooCommerce has the Wizard and WP Ultimo has a similar Wizard where you have steps and stages in the sign up process that you go through. We want to connect this with our Site Settings Pro plugin and our Content Editor Pro plugin and any other features that we could actually add to it too that maybe not tie you into our plugins per se. But those are definitely the things that we want to tie it into for sure. And we won't know exactly what we're able to do or not do until we get access to 2.0. But that is our goal. That's what we would like to accomplish. So as people are filling out the form or going through the Wizard, the sign up process with WP Ultimo, and after they made the payment, then they're taken through the actual Wizard, Tour Wizard Pro. And they're asked the questions about their business name, location, social media accounts, things like that we have set up in Site Settings Pro. And then any content information, if they want to drop in content, we'll probably get that also incorporated. And so that way, when they get to the actual page of their site, it's already done for them. Their logo's been dropped in, their business information's been dropped in, all of that stuff is done. And so that's what's the best part about it. But then we also have the tour aspect of it, and that is what is we have for the most part complete. And you'll probably see there's a little bit of bugs or tweaks that we need to figure out here shortly when in my demonstration. But the tour part of it is like other tours out there that you'll see on the market. It just takes you through where you can have them go through a steps order process. So if they want to figure out how to change their site settings, they can click on a site settings tour, whatever you name it. It's up to you. And then they would be able to go through the process of how they change their site settings, and you can walk them through each step and give them a tour. And so what I want to do in this video is show you just kind of briefly how it works, what is available, and just letting you know what's to come. So let's get started. So the first thing is I want to go ahead and click on this. I set one up just for a quick demonstration. And if you click on this button here, you'll see we'll have a tour, a pop-up coming in. And just welcome to your new pro site. We're happy to have you with us, and we'll do our best to help you launch a site that brings value and customers. Excuse me. So we can add videos, we can add images. We actually have settings to change the radiuses, the background colors, the colors of the text, the size of the text, and we'll just keep adding features as time goes on and as we get more requests from customers. But we wanted to get an MVP out as soon as possible, which is the minimal viable product, just so you guys have something in your hands and you can start implementing these steps or tours into your websites. Excuse me. Swallowed wrong or something. So anyways, we also have buttons down here. There's two buttons. One of the buttons that usually says continue. I've taken the words out, continue out, and so you still see something there. So that's another little feature that we want to add to it probably in the next day or so, to where you can select which buttons you want to show and which ones you don't, and then to be able to change the colors of the buttons and the fonts and all of that stuff. So that's the first step, our first tours. And so let's show you how that is done. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, okay, got it. And it goes away. And we're going to go ahead, and you'll see that I have multiple tabs open. And the reason being is the back end of my site, I have to tell you ahead of time, and I apologize, is super slow for some reason. And we're trying to work that out. We're probably going to be switching servers, but, or at least having we've had quite a few people look into it, and it's just slow. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at how this Tour Wizard plugin works. So here's our plugins page. I don't need that anymore. What we need to do is add a new tour. So where you find tours is just going to be down here at the bottom in our case. So we got tours, and inside tours, we have tours, steps, settings, import, export. Actually, let's go through the settings first. I think that would actually make more sense to see what you have access to change. So let's give it a second, maybe 2 minutes, literally, to load for us here. Fortunately, it's only the admin area that loads this slow. It's not our client sites. At least we haven't heard so much. So here we have the ability to change the color of the tour box, the background color, the title color, text color. We have fonts settings of the sizes. We are going to be adding being able to select from multiple fonts. So we've kind of taken all the things that we can into account, and we'll just keep adding to it and making it better and better as we go along. So those are your settings, and we're not going to play with them, but that's what you have to change at this point in time. And then we also have the ability to import and export tours. So that way, if you have sites that you're working on for agencies that is not multi-site necessarily, and you want to be able to take something that you set up for one client site and take it over to another client site, you can export that tour so you don't have to start from scratch. So I love that feature. And then, so now let's go ahead and go to the tours page. Let's go back to where we were going to start. Let's give it a couple minutes here. All right. All right. Now that we're on the tours page, we're going to click on Add New. Okay, so here we are in the tours add tours page. We're going to name this tour. So let's go ahead and go back to the dashboard. Here's the dashboard, and so we're going to call it Start Here First. So let's go back to our tours and let's name this Start Here First. So here we go, Start Here First. And in this case, it's a button. So I'm going to put button, and I'll explain that in a minute why I did that. And so the beginning strategy is it going to start automatically, or is it going to start on a click of an element? So the reason I did the brackets with the button, and a feature that we'll be adding in the next day or so, is because there, in our case, for example, we have it to where we want a specific pop-up to show up automatically. And that same pop-up, we want to be able to have access to it at a future date for our customers to be able to access to it. And so that's what that big green button is. So the same pop-up that comes up when they first log into their new site is going to be the same pop-up that comes up when they click on the Start Here First button. So we would have to create two tours of exact kind of tours for those two things to work. And so the element that we're going to be working on the next day or so is be able to turn off the tour that you don't want to display. And I'm not sure if I showed you this yet, but I'll show it to you again in case I did. Right here is where we display the tour guides. And so you can turn that feature off inside of screen options. I just click on it and show you. Inside here, you can turn on and off the tour guides, just like you can these other boxes. And as we add more tours, they will just get longer, and you can click Start Tour, whatever tour you want. Now, if you do want to turn that off, your customers will still have access to it over here in the left navigation under Tour Guides, and that'll take you to the same page that has basically all your tours and Start Tour button, just like that. So that's how that works. And so in the case of where we want our initial pop-up tour to be displayed during the first time they log in, we don't want them to see the same tour twice down here. So we have one for the button, one for the initial pop-up. So we're just going to be able to select in the settings to turn one of them off, so that only one of these will show up inside that tour guides and on the tour guides page. All right, so here we are. So this one we're going to do on a click on an element. And this tour guide does work on the front end and the back end. So in this case, obviously, we're going to be working on the dashboard. And then we have a place to select the DOM element, the target element that we're going to select, and which URL. So it automatically knows because we said dashboard, it picked up the URL for us. And then we have select plan, and this is where you select which WP Ultimo plan you have that you wanted to be addressed for this particular tour. Some plans may have features that other plans don't have, and to demonstrate those features, you don't want the lower end plans to see the features or have tours to features that they don't have access to. It wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't see it in their left navigation, and the steps wouldn't make sense to them because they don't have access to it. So here you can assign it based on the plan. But if you don't have a specific plan for this, or you want it to be applied to all plans, you just leave it at default, select plan. So now that everything is selected, I do want to go ahead and click the target element. So I'll click choose and then choose again. This will take a couple seconds or a couple minutes, and we'll see how we're able to select the element. So give us a second here. All right, so here we are on the homepage again, and it's asking us to select the component that we want to use as our target. So in this case, it's going to be this button. This happens to be an image and not an actual button, so I just have to click on the image and just say component selected. Is it the one you selected? Yes. So that's it. It's automatically brought it in, put the code in there, and just click save. So from now on, when you click on that button, the pop-up window will, this tour will begin. That's the first step though. Now we have to say, what is this tour going to have? What step is it going to have in it? So now that that's saved, you see up here it says tour saved. We want to go to the next step. So we can get there by all tours. And here we are. So it shows us the tour button. We can view the steps, or we can add a new tour. So in this case, we're going to want to view steps. And this will take us to where we can start creating the steps that we want to take. In this case, there's only one step. It's going to pop up the window that has that content that I showed you. And so I saved it to my clipboard. I'm hoping it's still there. If not, I will have to open up that content in another window. So let's see here. We're going to add new step. All right, great. So here we are with the steps. So we got to select which tour we're going to work on. So in this case, we only have the one tour that we started. So we're going to say start here first button. And the arrange is we're going to start at 0. That's the first thing that will pop up. And then you'll the next step, you'll select 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. And so the step title or the step name, we're going to call this one step, or actually, I want to name it Welcome to Your New Pro Sites. Welcome to your new pro site with an exclamation mark. And because that shows up as a header in the actual toolbox, so you don't have to repeat that inside of this content when we get down to there. And so there's 3 different step types. We have tooltips, dialogue, and text. So a tooltip is where it just shows the information, and you pretty much know what a tooltip is, and everything blackens around it, and it just shows you where you're going. A dialogue box is going to have a place where you can add images and all these other features, like media stuff like that, like videos. And then you have your page URL. So we know it's going to be on the admin screen that we want this one. And then you have your overlay. Now, keep in mind, you could do page URL and you can make it on your customizer. You can make it on the front end of your website. There's different places that you can actually have this step go to. So just know that it's not always have to be in your admin. I pasted or copied it in my clipboard. So let's go ahead and see if that stuck. Oh, thank God it did. And there, it even brought the video in. I don't know why I keep sticking on that word. I'm going to center that. And do I want it to be an overlay? Yes, I do. And that's where it blackens out the screen and shows that just the box appear in front of you. If you say no, it'll just bring the box without, and you can still see everything 100% around it. I like to bring attention to the box. And then you can add your button to close the tour. That just gives you the ability to X out the tour if you want. And then you have 2 buttons. You have the continue button for the next step, and you have the button to stop the tour. And so you can rename these however you want. I can say continue on that one, or the stop button label. And then this one, I like to say, okay, got it. And that's it. And so once that's all set up, you want to go ahead and click save. And once that's saved, it will show up here. All right, and so now we're going to come to our dashboard here, and I'm going to click refresh so that it refreshes everything. All right, so this should pop up when you click on it, and there we are. We have the information we said. It has the continue button this time, and okay, got it. And we can change the shape of the radius on the buttons. Again, we're going to be tweaking to be able to change the color, change the font size, color, so forth. Everything's going to be tweakable. But that is it. That gives you a quick demonstration. I hope you can imagine some of the things that you could do with this. You could show them how to change their site settings, how to add pages, delete pages, go through organize their navigation menus, how to change your site to your own URL, like the domain mapping. There's so many different things that you can take create a tour for and show them so that you don't have to take on the calls, the support tickets, and so forth. It's all right there in their dashboard, easy for them to just figure out themselves. So that's it. I hope you enjoy. And if you have any questions, please do leave them down in the post below. And I look forward to helping you out any way I can. Thank you very much. Have a great day.